China is one of the most biodiverse countries on the planet. Its diverse landscapes host nearly every type of ecosystem, supporting an extraordinary range of plant life. Among them, one family stands out: begonias. These delicate plants have evolved into over 2,000 species worldwide, with many flourishing in China's rich and varied habitats. To protect and showcase this incredible diversity, botanic gardens play a vital role. Botanic gardens are often very protective of their plant collections. Unless you're a staff member or a researcher, access is usually off limits. But today, I've been granted the rare privilege of exclusive access to the private begonia collection at Xiamen Botanic Gardens. And the best part is, I get to bring you along. Xiamen is a coastal city in southeastern China, located directly across from Taiwan. It enjoys a subtropical climate with mild winters and warm summers, which make it suitable for many of the region's begonia species. China leads Asia with the highest number of botanical gardens. With over 100 botanical institutions throughout the country, they are definitely taking conservation and outreach very seriously. The newly established China National Botanic Garden System further enhances these efforts, allowing for seamless exchange of plant material and research data between institutions. This unified system fosters more effective and collaborative conservation strategies, strengthening the impact of China's extensive network of botanical gardens. Many botanical gardens in China have made the conservation of begonia species a priority, and for good reason. Not only are they delicate, but also serve as key indicator species, thriving only in environments with a certain level of ecological integrity. Many begonia species are narrowly endemic, requiring highly specific conditions to survive. This makes them particularly vulnerable to habitat loss and environmental changes. Even minor disturbances, such as land conversion for agriculture or development, can easily lead to the extinction of entire species. Faced with such challenges, ex situ conservation in botanical gardens has become essential for protecting these vulnerable species. In recognition of their importance, 7 critically endangered begonia species are currently under legislative protection, with more expected to join them in the future. Today, we'll explore a variety of begonia species, from exotic non-Chinese types to those native to this region. While our time is limited, we'll focus on those seldom seen in cultivation. These begonias, though not native to China, have found a home here, in Xiamen's carefully controlled greenhouses. The greenhouse here houses not only species native to China, but also a significant collection of exotic species and cultivars. Their presence here is not merely for display, but serves a crucial purpose: research. The collection spans a rich diversity of species from across Asia and the New World. Each plant plays a vital role in extensive studies, where botanists explore their behavior and adaptations. These insights are pivotal in advancing conservation efforts and refining horticultural techniques. Before we continue, let's head over to the China National Botanic Gardens in Beijing. While begonias are often associated with tropical climates, China's vast and varied climatic conditions has given rise to some remarkable exceptions. One such species is Begonia grandis. I'm currently at the China National Botanic Garden in Beijing, here to take a look at Begonia grandis, subspecies sinensis. Begonia grandis is one of the most widely distributed species in China, ranging from Tibet in the west to Liaoning in the northeast and extending throughout much of southern and central China. At first glance, this plant might seem unremarkable, yet it has an extraordinary ability to endure all 4 seasons. As winter sets in, it goes dormant, halting its metabolic processes to conserve energy and protect its tissues from the cold. Even when the surrounding soil is frozen, the tubers remain safely insulated beneath the earth. This adaptation allows Begonia grandis to weather the winter and emerge once again in the spring, ready to resume its life cycle. One of the most commonly cultivated species today is Begonia longiciliata, previously known as Begonia sizemoriae. Research published in 2020 confirms that these two names refer to the same species. Since Begonia longiciliata was described earlier in 1995, it takes precedence over the later name, Begonia sizemoriae, introduced in 2004. What makes Begonia longiciliata particularly fascinating is its remarkable morphological variation. As its name suggests, Begonia longiciliata is distinguished by the long, fiber-like hairs on the upper surface of its leaves. However, because this species is distributed across various regions in China, Vietnam, and Laos, its appearance can vary significantly depending on its geographic origin. Here I've gathered several specimens of Begonia longiciliata. While we are most familiar with those that have the characteristic long hairs, there are also variants that lack these surface hairs. Begonia luzaiensis is another species known for its significant variation due to its wide distribution across the limestone landscapes of China and Vietnam. Research has revealed that the different populations of Begonia luzaiensis are genetically diverse, often isolated from one another by geographical barriers. As a result, this species exhibits subtle differences in appearance depending on where it is found. Here, I've gathered several specimens of Begonia luzaiensis. You'll notice that some have bigger leaves, while others are smaller. There are also differences in leaf texture. Some are hairy, others smooth, as well as a range of colors from deep dark greens to lighter shades. These variations are a direct reflection of the plant's distinct geographic origins. The Begonia nursery here in Xiamen is quite remarkable. Let's take a moment to wander through this extraordinary collection. While many of these species are known for their leaves rather than flowers, there is one species that stands out for its particularly fragrant blooms, Begonia handeliae. Like the others we've explored, Begonia handeliae is distributed across a range from Vietnam to China, and as such, it too exhibits fascinating variation. Some variations have fine, delicate hairs, while others display striking white maculation on their leaves. Though we don't have flowers to admire at the moment, Begonia handeliae is renowned for its fragrance when it does bloom. Xiamen isn't the only botanic garden dedicated to the genus Begonia. Many indigenous Begonia species are concentrated in southern China, particularly in regions like Guangxi. In fact, there is a botanic garden in Nanning that specializes in collecting and conserving these regional species. Let's head over to the Nanning Botanic Gardens in Guangxi. I'm currently at the Nanning Botanic Gardens in Guangxi to showcase their extensive begonia collection. But with a collection of a few hundred species, it's impossible to showcase them all. So I've selected a few interesting ones. This is quite an interesting species from Guangxi, China, published earlier this year. Its name is derived from two Greek words, ornitho, meaning bird, and pedata, meaning foot, referencing its unique foliage that resembles a bird's foot. With such incredible diversity comes the responsibility to protect it. China has recognized the need to safeguard its most vulnerable species. Among them are 7 critically endangered begonia species, now designated as national protected species under Chinese legislation. Strict laws are in place to safeguard these plants, and unless you have a special permit, the collection of living tissues and seeds is strictly prohibited and punishable by law. Here, in the cool room at Xiamen Botanic Garden, all 7 of the protected species are housed. These tanks are climate controlled, with key growth parameters like light, temperature, and relative humidity carefully adjusted to suit the needs of some of the more sensitive species. Now, let's take a look at the protected plants. The first is Begonia arachnoidea, one of China's most visually striking species. It is aptly named for the intricate web-like veination on its leaves. There are a few different forms of this species, but this is one of the whiter forms. And the next one is Begonia coptidifolia, located in here.
A rare riverine species named for its likeness to the fern Coptis chinensis. Given its highly localized habitat, it's at serious risk of extinction. However, reintroduction efforts are underway and showing promising results.
And the next one is Begonia ferox.
Initially, one might assume its name derives from its resemblance to ferrofluid. Yet, it actually comes from the Latin word for ferocious or fierce, a reference to its leaf bulation.
Begonia coulongchanensis is the next one.
Named after the mountain where it was first discovered, Gulongshan in Guangxi, southern China.
The next one is Begonia hongkongensis.
As the name suggests, it's from Hong Kong. It's a riverine species that thrives on rocks and boulders along stream banks. Due to land scarcity and population pressures, this species is at significant risk of extinction.
And the sixth one is Begonia hainanensis.
One of the few Chinese species from section Petermania, a group predominantly found in the Malaysian and Indonesian regions.
And the final one is Begonia koulingxingensis.
All these plants are narrowly endemic and at great risk of extinction. So it's encouraging that both the government and botanical institutions are taking active measures to protect and conserve their biodiversity. Yet, it is important to remember that within these very greenhouses, there are other begonia species, though not officially protected, but are no less vital to conserve.